Hello guys, it's me, Big Dave, and today we're doing another Raid Shadow Legends video, and specifically the Celestial Griffin, or Grythion, whichever one you want to go with. Yeah, so I've been away for a few days, family stuff and Halloween and beer and all that kind of good stuff. So yeah, so I'm back now. Over the next few days, I will be doing videos regarding the second rotation of Doom Tower because I've done the first one and I'm going now over the second one. I won't go over the bosses that are in here from rotation one, like the Magma Dragon, I believe, is in here. But I'll be going over the Griffin on every level, so you have this idea of what. Because my teams change as I go up. So because this team is very much based around a sort of a not free to play, but you can get two of these by effectively just logging in. Well, you can't get Ninja anymore, but I'm hoping you got him. So yeah, we'll go over the run. I'll go over the gear. I'll go over other champs you can use here, but there are certain things you need here in order to make this fight a lot more accessible because of what the Griffin actually does. So we'll go over the run, show you the run, and then I'll go over the gear, and then I'll go over the champs specifically that you can use instead of the ones that I'm using if you don't have, for argument's sake, Lydia or Brogany or Kreela for that matter, or any one of them. I'll go over who you can replace, okay? So I'll start with the run, and yeah, let's get into it. Right, I pretty much run this on auto. You don't have to. I prefer, like, when you get to the Griffin himself, on his second move, he takes the buffs that you place on him and places them on you. So block debuffs is huge here. You do not want, like, if you go in and you go in with a decreased defense, decreased attack, HP burn, poisons, on the second turn he'll just give it all back to you, and then you'll be in a world of hurt. That's where he's awkward. That's why you have to run. For me, I have to run a block debuff because of the amount of buffs that I'm placing here. Now, Kreela helps a lot here because she doesn't place that many buffs. Well, she doesn't place any debuffs on the boss because she hits hard on the A1 and she places buffs on us, which is good for us. But we have to have block debuffs to make sure that we don't get debuffed by. So here we go. So Kreela goes in with a big AOE hit. They're all too early. Now the shield is good though. Yeah, we're gonna get all of those debuffs back now. So yeah, it's not a good idea. That's why autoing, and this is why Kreela comes in. The biggest problem here is getting the damage to whittle him down. Like on this level, it's not too difficult. As you can see now, I'm basically it should be alright. Like, this is why I don't run it auto further up, because of this reason. So yeah, but the basic principle is to get as much damage as you can early on. If you're mid game or late game, this should be fairly simple. But for you guys trying to push through here, from if you've just say done normal and you're starting hard, this is what you need. You can also, as you can see, once you got away from him transferring, you can start laying debuffs on him. So HP burn is good against this guy. Poison's not so good, and you do not want poisons coming back. Like, that's why a bad L, I think, is a bad idea here, because if you put all those poisons on, they're just gonna come back to you if you don't have block debuffs. So yeah, as you can see, it doesn't take very long. I can pretty much do this guy all the way up to 90. I think it's 90 is the last one he's on. I have to manual 90, but it's fairly simple, this boss is. But you have to have the right debuffs in order for this to actually work. There are other ways of doing it, and obviously with Ninja, I normally use Rotus here, but I'm using Ninja instead of Rotus because Ninja's free to play and he does exactly the same thing, really. Apart from he doesn't get the extra turns and he doesn't hit as hard, but his A2 can hurt, can do a lot of damage, as you'll see when we get to the screen. So here we are. So we'll go over the damage output. Ninja, basically a million damage. Syl, my Brogny and my Lydia are all on high resist. So that when the turn meter, because Lydia has got, and Syl, Lydia's got Evil Eye, so her first hit might get a stun, but you put enough resist on her, you won't. But again, this is a very, very close to endgame build with Lydia. I use her in my go second. She has got a lot of resist, and I got void resist maxed out. So yeah, you might think, well, I'm not gonna be able to get that resist, but then you would just make your block debuffer first, before Lydia. Like I put Lydia in purely because of the decreased defense and weaken, and obviously she put strengthen and speed up on my champs. And the same with Syl. So I'll go over the champions as best I can. So we'll start with Lydia. As you can see, Lydia's stats. She's in Perception and Immortal. Obviously, I need her debuffs to land in Arena, and obviously I need him to land here. She's pretty good all the way up. I can pretty much use Lydia on every boss apart from Bommel. She's got enough accuracy and enough resist to resist most bosses apart from Bommel, which is a shame, really. And obviously she puts on way too many debuffs. But yeah, so she's got 55k HP, nearly 3,400 defense, 280 speed, which is a little bit slow. I want her more like near 250, but I haven't got the gear right now, and I'm working on that. I literally am today working on getting speed gear, so I can take my speed gear off my arena champs and put it on her. So yeah, don't worry about the crit damage. That's just become as a byproduct. So 373 resist and 345 accuracy. Preferably, I'd want that near 450, 500, and I'd want that near 400. But that's hard to do, especially on a build when you're going for what I'm actually going for. So that's Lydia. If you haven't got Lydia, Stag Knight, perfectly good option. Also brings decreased attack. Doesn't bring the buffs, obviously, but yeah, I would if you haven't got Lydia, then I would use Stag Knight. You could also use Tyrell. Tyrell can perfectly do the job, but again, be wary using Tyrell because his A3 turns turn meter. Don't put enough resist on him; he's going to be stunned, and then you're going to have him out of the fight for a turn. So, but if you're going to run Tyrell, run him with a block debuffer. But I'll go into that in a second. So let's go down to, should be Brogni next, I believe. Where's Brogni? Here we are, Brogni. No, it's Boss Hundig. Brogni, right. One of the most OP champs in the game, I think. Literally can use him everywhere. But I'll go into his stats. So, 67,000 KHP, low defense, lowish, 2,500. I want that more. I would want that higher, but I think he's got enough health to mitigate that. 122 crit damage. Don't ask me how on earth I've got that. Be good if I could get some damage on him, but I haven't. As you can see, he's my highest resist. So he's 407, and I still have a maxed out magic on resist. So he's still got a good 20 or 30 to go there. So yeah, he's literally, I run him as a goal second in arena in 3v3, more or less in 3v3. So he basically becomes a stumbling block for other teams. And the accuracy is fairly low. You can go the accuracy if you want his HP burn to land. Otherwise, it's up to you. But I personally don't. I got him in Perception and Divine Speed. I don't know why I got him in Perception. Preferably, I'd have him in Regen. But I'm happy with what I got. Because it means then I can use him to get the HP burn off of the Nether Spider. So if you get it high enough, it will land. If you don't run a HP burner, just as a added caveat, that's all. So yeah, the replacements for Brogni, you've got Sepulchre Sentinel, can do it. Marked for block debuffs, because that's why he's in here. It's block debuffs and the shield, but block debuffs is the main reason he's here. Who else does it? Sifi. If you've got Sifi, you're obviously using her, so you use her instead if you've got her. She brings a very similar kit to Brogni, probably slightly better, but again, this guy was effectively a fusion, so this is why he's considered for me the best fusion in the game, as far as I'm concerned. I don't think there's a fusion better than him, but that's just my opinion. There's Sepulchre, obviously Brogni himself. You've got, let me think, who else does block debuffs? Morsalia Mage, wrong affinity for this, but you could use it if you wanted to. Basically anybody with block debuffs, but the more buffs, the better. But you want the buffs to go on after the first turn, because you put it on the first turn, they're gone on the second, as you saw with that run on auto. And later on, it will become a massive problem. Because once he strips you, he might get block debuffs off, block buffs off, and then you comp buffs on. And because he's faster later on, you won't be able to cycle quick enough to get them after he goes. So yeah, it's very difficult, but this is how I built Brogni. But any block debuffer can replace Brogni. Any of them, basically. Obviously, Sepultur's weak affinity because I believe it's Spirit on the first one. Get Spirit all the way up, which is good really, because you can end up using Rotus and Ninja if you've got Ninja, because he's strong affinity here. So yeah, so that's Brogni. Over who's next? So next would be Syl of Drakes, as you've probably seen before from my video from doing Barbarians. She's in Relentless. She has got some of my best Relentless gear, purely because her CC is through the roof. So she's got 56k HP, 3,300 defense, 212 speed. As you can see, they're all around the baseline speed over 210, 200. Yeah, don't worry about the crit and the crit damage. 231 resist. It's not the best resist in the world. It's very difficult to get resist on a champ when you're using Relentless, purely because it's you have to hope that it's in the subs rather than going for resist on the pieces. But I would like that higher, like preferably 300 is the good mark for Doom Tower. So eventually I will get more resist, but she does resist enough. She resists enough on like the Griffin. The Griffins, I think height further up is roughly about the same. And then obviously 300 accuracy. Obviously, so the stuns land. I've also, just to give you guys an example, just to show you, I've gone down here to free some presence. The reason being, gives you a better chance, a 5% extra chance to stun. And if you put that on, I know a lot of guys use stun set on it, but I've used Relentless. I find that it procs more often than not. At least the worst I ever get is like 3. That's the worst I ever get out of 5. So, and most of the time it gets everybody because it double hits. So it doubles up his chances effectively. So yeah, Syl, genuinely, I wouldn't replace her personally. For me, she's, you get her after 6 months of playing the game. And if you're at this point in Doom Tower, you're doing hard, you're probably near the 6 months, unless you've been really lucky on pulls, and you might have pulled her early. But she is the must here, without any question for me. She is the absolute must, because she's your heals to keep you alive, because later on he will hit hard, and he'll almost take you down to no health. And then if you do drop, Syl's got a single res. And to be fair, this boss has got a habit of single targeting people. Like in this comp, Creeler almost seems to die further up, but then Syl just brings her back up. Then as she's bringing her up, she's giving her a heal as well. So it's, yeah. So yeah, Syl is probably a must for this kind of comp, genuinely. And then who we got? So we got Ninja. Where is Ninja? He's around here somewhere. There he is. So Ninja. As you can see, I've got no masteries. He's pretty much in a mismatch of gear, purely because I do plan on using Ninja for Clan Boss eventually once I get another Man-Eater. Or I'm thinking about building the Demitha comp with him, but the speeds are just insane. So yeah, I am going to one day use him for that. And then he'll come out of this team and he'll just be Clan Boss. But yeah, so his stats are 23k HP, 4,300 attack, 194 speed, which is very good. 101 crit rate, and 225 crit damage. Hardly any resist, 308 accuracy. So his A2, which I'll go over now, his A2, Hellbent, as you can see, it explodes effectively, instantly activates. It's an explode. I love how they word this, but it's an explode. Same as there's a lot of new champs in the game I started doing. I know Dark Kale is coming soon. Video incoming on that guy, because I'll be getting him by the next CVC, so there will be a video coming on him. Yeah, these seem to be becoming more prevalent now with like Venomage, this guy. There's a few others who I can't really remember their names. But yeah, this move is the reason why you bring him in here. Mine is nearly booked out. I need a couple more books to book him out to finish. Book this guy. If you're early game, the chances are, if you're early game and you're free to play, he's going to be the first Lego you get, and you'll use him for everything. But here, I use him because of the A2, and obviously the A3 then cools down is A3, as is A3 cools down as A2, as you can see here, as it says down the bottom. Where's it gone? No, not this one. Yeah, will also decrease the cooldown of Hellbent by 1 turn. So you get that down to a 3. It effectively becomes a 2, and he becomes insane for this. So yeah, if you can get away with only, I would book fully, personally, to get the damage, because you will be using this guy everywhere. So yeah, the gear I've got is, well, as I said, perception, bit of accuracy, just so I don't need, I won't have to go searching for accuracy in order, because then I can then go, I think I've actually gone, I've actually gone accuracy on the banner. I hope to get that out one day, once I get him to about 350, 360, and then I'll take the banner off, but an attack banner there to get more damage out of him. So yeah, so that's Ninja. The replacements for Ninja, Rotas, if you've got Rotas, any single hitter basically that hits hard. Off the top of my head, you can use any damage dealer really. Big Gun, Foley, Zargala, wrong affinity though, but anyone that hits hard. But obviously, you're going to need somebody to keep that person alive, or you run a Sill to res your damage dealer. I run 2 damage dealers, but I'll get into the next one now. But yeah, Ninja is very squidgy, same as Kreela. Early on, you'll be alright if you've got a Brogni, but later on, they will die, and you'll need Sill to pick them up. It's just the way that it is, especially in the comp that I run. So if I go into Kreela, this is a clan boss build. I'll openly admit this because, so the gear, get off that, there she is. For me, one of the best supports in the game. Another good fusion, outstanding champ. So yeah, so 20k, 28k HP, 4,111 15 defense, 222 speed, purely clan boss. She's my 2-1. I run a 2-1 ratio on her in clan boss, so that her ally protect comes in. That's why she's this fast. You don't really need her this fast. Not for early Doom Tower. 200, 180 will be perfectly fine. 102 crit rate and nearly 200 crit damage. It's hard to get that speed and get the crit damage. I haven't gone for accuracy. You can, but no point for the Griffin, because you can't stun the Griffin, and that's all she does really, is stun. If you want the stun to land, put accuracy on her, but it's hard to get her. She is. You can hybrid her, but I wouldn't use the stun because it's a one hit. So I personally stay away from accuracy, which is how I believe I've got, if I'm not mistaken, attack on the banner. Yes, attack. I would like that to be. But you've also got to remember, if you put this on, let's say, you've got to remember she's support. If this was a Big Gun, a Foley, a Trunder, this would be 5,000. Easy. Because she's got an okay attack, but you've got to remember that all the nukers in the game have got 1.5 to 1.6. So, yeah, you work out the percentages. It's nearly 5k. The gear in it is really good. Hence the reason why I put the banner on. Because if I took the banner off, she'd be near 3,000, so she'd do less damage for me. But yeah, and the reason we use her in the Griffin is the ally attack. It comes around every 3 turns. So every 3 turns, you need to have that extra damage, because that's what does it. If he gets past 20 Skybonds, which is the sort of wing-looking thing on the top, once that gets to 20, it's over. You may as well restart and go again, because he will one-shot your team. He will. He'll whittle one out at each of the time. So yeah, you want to make sure you get the damage out on this guy. So yeah, in Kreela's case, fracking the fat is probably better for it, to be honest. He brings HP burn, he brings poisons. So if I had, I can't even say his name, Farak in the fat, I would use him. You could use Lanarkist if you haven't got Kreela. Any ally attack, basically. Or you could run Drekthar, so that you replace the HP burn. But we're bringing in Brogni for it, but you can bring in HP burn. But if you've got Farak in the fat in your clan boss team, just bring him in as he is. as long as you've got somebody to keep him up. And obviously he'll add the crit damage buff to your team, and you get the crit rate buff to your team, and he also lays poisons. And yeah, if you've got Farrak in the fight, use him. Could you use Catacomb Counselor? Possibly. He doesn't do much damage though, I find, personally. I'm not a fan. He was good, but he's outshined now by so many other champs. Yeah, so any ally attack, or just another attacker. Yeah. So, oh, there we go. Thank you. Thanks for letting me know we're going into the thing. But yeah, so guys, if you've got any questions, please feel free to leave a comment in the comment section. I'll add my Discord and my Twitch. Now, I haven't been on Twitch much recently because I've been working mostly on getting the YouTube channel started and getting videos out there for you guys. So if there's anything you guys need, any help, please don't feel free to ask. Clan boss, I'm pretty good at that. Anything, genuinely. If you're stuck anywhere, just leave a comment in the comment section, or leave a message in my Discord, and I'll get back to you and help you guys out. That's what I'm here for, to help you guys out. So hope you all had a good weekend and a good Halloween. And it's Big Dave out.